Recording is on.
This nice voice.
Very nice.
What a smooth language tone.
So, really warm welcome from my side. My name is Lucas. Together with me here are Alexander and Marie. I will just promptly share my presentation. That we have something to look at in the meantime. There we go. And I will. So. And now you see my face again, hopefully. Yeah, perfect. So, welcome from my side to this webinar regarding all the entrepreneurship programs of EIT Food. First of all, who is actually here and will be talking the next few minutes? I already introduced myself. My name is Lucas. I actually work for Swiss Food Research. Together here with me are Alexander from Dill and Marie from Shake Up Factory, and I'm sure they will introduce and give a little bit more insight in their working and doings in the next few minutes. What we'll be talking about today, first of all, let's talk about what is actually EIT Food, the focus areas we're working on. Then the reason why you guys here, you somehow have heard about the business creation programs within EIT Food. One we call Seedbed. The second one is the Food Accelerator Network. And when we talk about scaling, it's more about rising food stars. After this session, roughly 20 minutes, we'll be talking, we'll be quiet, hopefully. We'll have like a Q&A in the respective rooms. One have in German, French, and English. If you wish to, we can serve with those three languages, unless anyone else can translate in another one. So, who is actually EIT Food? You've seen like three different people with three different backgrounds and companies related to their name, right? We have Alexander from Dill, we have Marie from Shake Up Factory, myself from Swiss Food Research. EIT Food is an innovation initiative to work actually to transform the food system into a more sustainable and healthy and trusted one across Europe, meaning the mission is to actually create the world where we can access more sustainable and better food at all from farm to fork. This means you need to bring together all the players within this whole ecosystem, meaning the whole agrifood ecosystem, in order to accelerate the whole innovation process and to actually transform the system. The strength of EIT Food, therefore, is that we are a collective of companies, research organizations across Europe to actually strive forward and transform the system. And how do we transform and where do we want to transform the system basically is aligned within the SDGs on one hand side with the Green Deal, but also can be reflected into 6 different focus areas from alternative proteins. Lot has been talked about, but more is to come. Targeted nutrition, depending on the consumer group. This is really an interesting topic, and lots of work still needs to be done there as well. We go over there to sustainable aquaculture, agriculture. Of course, digital tools need to be enabled as well as a circular economy needs to be reached somehow. Within those 6 focus areas, from education over to business creation, EIT Food has aligned their innovation tools. Well, I talked about that we're lots of different companies, and we also have corporate partners, which are helping us here with their expertise, but also their resources. This ranges from Danone to Strauss to John Deere. Again, you somehow see those companies working in their respective key focus areas. This gives us, meaning you, me, the access to strategic advisors, of course. You can discover development opportunities, and within the path of innovation, meaning from idea generation over concept development, validation, also go to markets, find the right partners. And of course, at the end, of course, it always boils down to where do I get the money? You can receive direct financial support from EIT Food, as well as impact funds from different venture capitalists associated with in the ecosystem of EIT Food as well. But in the end, well, I try to make it as simple as possible. What do you actually need to get your idea going? I'm sure all of you guys listening to me are somewhere along the way from this, let's say, idea you had. You somehow started, oh, it would be nice to create a shrimp, a meat analog, something else than what we are perceiving on the market. But in the end, you want to have it on the plate. So within this path of innovation, from this idea generation, I'd like to create something new, something different, to the first concept development and to the table. You need different platforms and innovation methods. Thus, within EIT Food, there are 3 different kinds of programs, as I've already touched upon, meaning depending on where you are with your idea. This pan-European network, meaning this range of universities, corporates, SMEs across Europe, can enable you to actually get access to this broad market. So we have the launch part, meaning you have an idea, you like to do a startup, you're not quite sure yet how to validate it. You are maybe already validating it somewhere in Europe, but also would like to know what is the market thinking about your idea on a, let's say, larger scale. On the second, we have the Accelerate platform, meaning the Food Accelerator Network, short FAN. This is more for seed-funded or pre-seed funded startups. You somehow achieved a pilot, you're investment ready, but you also would like to grow a little bit more. As soon as you've gained traction, of course, it becomes more interesting. How do we scale? How do we create a more solid customer base? How do we expand this product even further? Therefore, there's the third one, so-called Rising Food Stars. With that, let's start with the Seedbed itself. What can you expect from the Seedbed program? It's an accelerator program running for 6 months.
Ich habe das in deinem Rucksack.
Sorry? Oh. Someone had it in the backpack. What can you expect from it? Expert training on one hand side, and Alexander will give a few examples from their side. Mentoring as well, because you need sparring partners. You need people giving you their inputs, reflecting your idea to create a better business case in the end. But you will also get financial support on one hand side, but also the follow-up support, meaning that it's not just a one-time thing, but we as a network would like to keep you moving further to help you innovate even beyond that. We talked about expectations, but there's also benefits for you in Seedbed, meaning you have an idea. Somehow you have to tell this idea. It's a lot about storytelling, but it's also about technology and IP positioning. And this is one of the strengths we have, that you will be talking to experts within the field, people who went through the same stories or similar stories as you are approaching to, that you're actually able to reflect and further formulate your ideas and technologies. But also get exposure, meaning not just your customers. This is really important, but also exposures to investors. How do you talk to investors? How do you deal with them to actually create a solid foundation for you and your company? So in short, who are we targeting, or who is the right person for the Seedbed program? Well, you're on one hand an aspiring entrepreneur, or even an academic entrepreneur, meaning just finished your PhD, postdoc, or your master thesis. You would like to spin this idea out of your university, or even just formed a new company and you would like to accelerate this at an early stage. But what does it mean being pan-European? The Seedbed Incubator is divided into 5 different hubs. These hubs are central locations where you will be talking to your experts in residence. We will get your training, your exposure to the market, and of course that feedback we all want to have. These hubs are Dill, Alexander. We have Queens, Aarhus, South, meaning Bilbao, and also at University of Warsaw we have the 5th one. What can you expect from the Seedbed? As I said, it's a 6-month program. The applications were opened in January, will be closing on February 28th. There will be a short evaluation period in order to find out, are you eligible for it, but also to find out your intentions in terms of what you want to bring forward, how do you want to grow your idea. Everything is aligned with a bootcamp and also a market discovery phase in order to actually provide you with the training. With that, I'd like to give the word to Alexander and give us some insight into the Dill Hub and what do you do?
Yeah, thank you, Lukas. Happy to do so. Dill actually stands for Deutsches Institut für Lebensmitteltechnik, which translates to German Institute of Food Technologies. So our knowledge here at the Institute is knowledge for superior food. And maybe we can come to the next slide. Background, founded in '83. It's organized as a non-profit association with 184 members by now, mostly from the private industry, so industrial members, as well as some universities. We have 252 employees currently. Maybe it's 1 or 2 more or less at the moment, I don't know. But we're very proud that we are pretty international. So our employees came from 11 countries the last time I checked. Gender balance, important, 50-50 at the Institute, pretty proud of that. Our headquarters is located in northwest Germany, close to the Dutch border. And we have offices in Berlin, Karlsruhe, and Brussels. Directors, Dr. Volker Heinz, very successful since many, many years at the Institute. Turnover, financial volume of the Institute is around 17 million euros per year. In addition to that, we have a couple of commercial spin-offs giving us more profits to pump into research. Funding at the Institute is about 35% of the funding is coming from the European Union, 57% from the federal government of Germany, and around 8% from the Bundesland, which means the local governments. We have around 3,000 visitors per year. In 1920, we published 49 scientific papers, and we have about 120 patents. What I would like to try to say with that is that we are very much into food tech. If you have a look at our research platforms, structure and functionality, biotech, automatization, advanced technologies, chemical analytics, food data, consumer science networks. So basically our core activities is around food tech, very much deep into that. And we're doing research, fundamental research, but more very much applied research, and on the other hand side, we are working directly for the industry. If you can switch the slide, Lucas, and you see a bit our campus, and one part of the campus is, you see very much in the center, is the DIL Innovation Hub. And the DIL Innovation Hub at the DIL is the first point of contact for startup companies. And in the DIL Innovation Hub, we are handling a couple of startup programs for ag and food tech innovators. And one of that is our involvement into EIT Food. Okay, next slide, please. Basically, as I said before, the campus itself is consisting of the institute in the center, then the technology limited, the engineering limited. We have a couple of networks around us. We put the DIL Innovation up into that, as well as local initiatives and EIT Food. And as of next year, we will even become a branch of a university offering international masterclass in food tech. Next slide, please. Yeah, what we do, I really forgot to translate that. Basically, we support startups in all phases through advice, training, networking, and of course, the inclusion into tailor-made programs like the EIT Food business creation products. Why are we doing it? Yeah, of course, as everyone being active in the food scene, we see the necessity to change the food system. And what we would like to do is very much focusing on the international networking between startups, where we see a big potential. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is my contact details. You can find it basically everywhere on the EIT slides. Not as important as if you want to get in touch, you will get in touch. Thank you, Lucas. Maybe I can spend a couple more words about EIT Seedbed as a program. As Lucas said before, it's a market discovery program. So the core is not really to deal with your food innovations as such. Of course, there's always a possibility to talk to one of our scientists and scientific platform leaders about the prototype stage. But the core of the program itself is basically to find out, is there someone out there who's willing to pay for your innovation, either B2B or B2C. And the program itself is starting with a boot camp if you are selected, which is a 1 week virtual event, like an online boot camp, basically very much focusing on business model canvas. Yeah, see, okay, where's the idea, where's the potential customers, what is the competitive landscape, and so on and so forth. And after the boot camp itself, there will be another short selection process where then you will enter into a 6 months phase where really go out of your offices, of your labs, to talk to potential customers, collaborators, maybe even competitors, to really check, is there a market for my product? How big is the market? Yeah. Within these 6 months, we have constant meetings with the hub management, which is basically me, with our so-called experts in residence from different sectors, so specialists in financing, specialists in business developing. Sometimes we have a specialist in legal questions. Yeah, so you have one-to-one, if you like. You can call them whenever you like to have one-to-one coachings with them. Yeah, and in our so-called bi-weekly catch-up calls or progress calls, we really try to follow up. Where is a space that we can give you a direct support? As I used to say, if people ask me, well, put the advantages of Seedbed into 2 sentences, I would say, hey, you will do what you have to do anyhow. You will do it with free of charge experts advice. You will get 6K for it, and as most of the initiatives is still online, it's money that you can spend for market testing. And the biggest benefit after you succeeded within the program is that you have access to the biggest European network in the agri-food society. So you will find universities, innovators, other startups from all over Europe, and even more because Israel and parts of Eastern Europe not belonging to the EU is part of the program as well. And you have access to follow-up support from EIT. And this makes life easier. You will find out very soon if your innovation will translate into a business idea, and if this business idea is really valid and can be successful. After you finish the program, you're part of the EIT Food community, so you will become an EIT Seedbed alumni, and you will have constant access to the network, as well as the possibility to apply for the next programs, then, which is, for example, FAN. And this is my keyword. I would like to hand over most probably to Marie, right?
Yes. Thank you very much, Alexander. I will just hand the word to Marie and talk about the FAN.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So as Lucas mentioned, I will introduce the FAN, so the Food Acceleration Network program that EIT offers. So it kind of comes right after Seedbed. So for startups that are a bit more advanced, that already have a prototype, because we'll see in a minute, but the objective is to get you to pilot readiness, so that you can hopefully collaborate with our partners. So basically, I think the ambition of the program is very, very similar to the Seedbed ones. We want to make the most of our network to accelerate the future food solutions, food and ag solutions, to indeed help tackle the multiple challenges the food industry is facing right now. So I think we're not going to detail these because we're all familiar with them. Again, the FAN program benefits from the whole EIT network, and of course, the FAN itself has its own network of partners, and they're all made of you guys, the startups, the corporates, the VC, and the research institutes. So that's how it's built on. You see that just one more minute on that slide, Lucas. Yeah. So we are spread out into 6 different hubs, and I'm representing the French one, which is a new one. So we're launching this year, located in Paris, and we're building the local ecosystem as we speak. But again, as Alexander mentioned, the great, I think, the main element of differentiation of these programs is that you benefit from the entire European network spread out across the 6 different locations for FAN. So if you want to move on to the next slide. What can you expect from FAN? Similar to Seedbed, really, but just because you are a little bit more advanced, we do a bit less of, probably we give you a bit more time because you guys are usually extremely busy running your business already. So we will adopt a more tailored approach to really make sure that you come and get what you're looking for. And so there is obviously a building skills objective, again, with the access of our experts. You are given a mentor at the beginning of the program that they will follow you, and they are selected according to your needs. You are becoming part of the network that we mentioned, and you also get access to facilities. such as labs, pilots, etc. That we have partners who can accommodate and where you can actually run your test, use their facilities, and so on. And then, of course, access to our VC partners for fundraising. So not just fundraising, but actually coaching on how to best fundraise. And then we end up with a demo day where you can actually meet with the VC, the partner VC. In terms of timings, well, we're right in the middle of the application period. It ends end of the month. And then the startups who are selected are announced mid-June. And we welcome you for 5 months of program. It usually ends end of October, but we like to kind of follow up with you guys afterwards. We don't just say bye-bye on October 31st and we no longer talk. So we like to build a community within the program so that we can continue the discussion also after the program itself. So on the next slide, you see the fan community in a bit more detail. So this is, as I said, corporates, research institutes, alumni, and also, the alumni part is very, I think, interesting for you guys because they've been through, the program, but they're also most probably tackling similar issues. And they are more advanced, so it's also we found that it's a very powerful network to be part of, and we use them a lot in our sessions for feedback and for so you guys talk with peers. We find it extremely useful as well. So moving on to the next slide. So who we are, because we're not EIT Food per se. We are Shaker Factory, and Shaker Factory is a startup accelerator, and also we provide consultancy services to corporates. We are exclusively working on ag and food tech topics. So we have managed to build a very solid ecosystem ourselves in the French and mostly in the French territory. And you see how dense the ecosystem looks like. So the good thing is we can also leverage this ecosystem when you join the French program. We also have a great capacity of having you collaborate with corporate, because that's what we do on a daily basis. We take briefs from corporates, and we have to basically find the right external partners, startups who can actually collaborate and build businesses with the corporates to solve a specific challenge, a specific issue, be it finding alternative to cheese, alternative to plastic, all the topics that come up on a very regular basis. In terms of location, we are based out of Station F I'm not sure whereas we have some French people in the call, but it's a very renowned location and an ecosystem on its own. So it's one of the biggest startup campus certainly in Europe, which benefits from a huge popularity, at least in France, and we're right in the middle of it, so it adds another ecosystem to connect to. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the French fan ecosystem, so you can concretely see what it means if you join the program. So again, we have a lot of experts, access to labs, access to food labs, and so on. We have the collaboration with the corporate partners whom we really want to collaborate with for this first program. We're very close with them already because, as I said, we work with them, with most of them on a regular basis. So we know the people inside, right? And not just the... Hello? Yeah? Okay. And we also have access to many VCs, PigBridge being the lead VC for FAN. And as I said, the network, and we've highlighted in big the French alumni who are not necessarily alumni from FAN, but they're alumni of EIT. And again, we have a privileged access to them. Moving on to the next slide. So this is just an overview of what it means to join a FAN program. Similar to Seedbed again, but maybe with a bit more emphasis on the pilots and the collaboration with the corporates, because you guys will be more advanced, so it makes sense that we privilege that. But other than that, very, very practical masterclasses. The FAN startups know what they do. They're more advanced, so we try and really tailor the program so it's very useful. And also we try and run short masterclass and then follow up with sort of a one-on-one. So the expert would then have a dedicated session, short session with all the startups that are relevant for the actual topic. So it makes it extremely concrete and practical, and it's not just a lecture for you guys. Networking, obviously, so the whole program is online, but of course, meeting face-to-face is the way to build network and relationships. So we will organize face-to-face events more or less once a month, so that and not social event only, obviously, always related to corporate visits or demo day, or there'd be something useful for you to attend. Mentoring, I think also Lucas mentioned, a mentor will be allocated to you to follow up across the program. And we are also trying to build access to some relevant conferences, such as Bridge to Food or Future Food Tech and so on. And that's something we are discussing at this stage. So it's not locked in yet, but we think it would be great to raise your availability, your awareness in the relevant places, basically. Good. I think we can move on. Yeah. So that was just one example of French alumni who actually was part of the Rising Food Stars program, so not FAN, but they ended up being awarded the best European deep tech scale up. So it's worth mentioning, and this is the little testimonial from Samantha here that you can read. So they really made the most of the ecosystem. So not just the program, but also the whole ecosystem around it to accelerate mainly the collaboration with the partners. So they do this traceability device based on the blockchain technology. So I'm not an expert, but basically you have a QR code on your pack. And you scan it, and you can trace every step of the supply chain, so from farm to fork. And that's a service that they managed to sell to the likes of Danone, Mondelez, Nestle, and is being used right now. So it kind of proves the power of the network, because they got privileged access to those partners back then. Good. And I think the last slide, it was just join us and the link to join. But you probably will do that, Lucas, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
I just wrap this up. I will not spend too much time. Last one, of course, the Rising Food Stars. Again, the next step after the Food Accelerator Network is to actually again support you guys with the needs that will come up, meaning how do you scale it up, how do you create traction, how do you get even more funding. This is an association and member-based, of course. Of course, we've shown you a lot of picture, but it's always good to know who has gone through those programs already, that it's not just testimonials we're showing you, but it's also really an impact we're creating here as well. With that, of course, let's wrap it a little bit up. How do you actually apply for those kind of programs? You find everything under the entrepreneurship.eitfood.eu. You basically register for it. Once you've registered, you will have you will be getting a link to apply for it. Of course, you have to have somehow an eligibility for it, meaning your motivation, prompt definition will be tested to just ensure that we're talking to the right people as well, but you get the most out of it. There will be a short list of applicants. We're going through the second selection process from March to June. After that, well, the business creation programs start. One last thing before we open up the Q&A. Always get in touch with us, Alexander, Marie, or myself, if you have any questions. I think all three of us are really embedded into our local ecosystem, but also have the connection to the European ecosystem, meaning depending on your questions, we can either help you right away or refer you to one of our colleagues as well across Europe. Second but last, get involved. Being here is one first step to get involved in across Europe. And I think Alexander nicely said this, that making the most out of it, what you're doing anyways, and also get paid for it, can be really worth it. Thus, as we're not that many people, is someone uncomfortable talking in English? I would like to have it in French, German. No? Any questions? Raise your hand or voice. Someone put on their mic.
I think I can start. Can you hear me well?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So my question, I'm a bit unsure about which stage in which we are in between the Seedbed and the next one. So I don't know what your suggestion, if we should still apply and then would be told if we should apply to another program or if we'll be reoriented directly. The current situation is that we have pilots that are currently working, and we're working on the market validations in the sense that we're constructing our customer pipeline, but we're still far from commercialization. If that makes some sense.
Maybe Alexander can here speak from his long years of experience.
Yeah, thank you for that compliment. Yeah, I mean, anyhow, if you apply, you do the eligibility check. And if you're not sure, like the evaluators will decide which program they would like to propose.
Yeah.
From my experience, I would say I mean, even participants in the CBET program, they should have a strong MVP and a prototype. It's not just an idea. So TRL level should be at least 4. And if you're on the phase to say, okay, we are validating our business model anyhow, we are looking for customers out there, I think Seedbed can be really beneficiary, because it grants you access to a network, first of all, and it maybe delivers additional input from the outside. I mean, as a startup, you're sometimes as active as you are living in your little bubble with your little team. And every once in a while, it might be helpful to consult external experts, which you will find in the program.
Okay.
So, Fan, Marie, maybe you can comment on that.
Yeah, I think
it makes sense as well.
Yeah, it's what you said. Huh? You apply and then you are directed anyway. you apply to the one you think makes the most sense, and then you'll be anyway checked and allocated to the relevant program. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And in our case, so we're based in Switzerland, but in French-speaking Switzerland, but our customers are in the Netherlands. So I assume it makes sense then to be linked to Germany, Netherlands, into that program.
It depends on what you're looking for. If it depends what you need, right? If you need, access to German, Dutch customers, then yes, definitely it makes sense. If you need specific, technology and it's a lab you need, or a certain facility that's maybe more present in one country than another, so that's what you have to take into account. But if the idea is to launch in the Netherlands, then of course makes sense to.
Niklas, one question from my side. What exactly are you trying to put on the market?
So basically, we have modules, photovoltaic modules that are compatible with production of crops, of plants. So basically, we work with greenhouse owners, and so we put the modules within their greenhouses. And basically, what we do is that we filter the sunlight. Whatever the plants need to grow, we give it to the plants so that they can grow without impacting the growth of the plants. And the rest we generate electricity with that. So with these, we're able to reduce the energy use of the greenhouses, and they can also reduce their costs with that.
Yeah. Can the panels be used for vertical farming as well?
So it's a question we get often. For now, we're focusing on greenhouses. In theory, yes, because I mean it's the same things. Usually in vertical farming, you have lights that are in the pink shades. Basically, we do that, but from the sun. Basically, it's that we put filters that the pink goes to the plants, and then the rest we do electricity with.
Yeah, but one unsolved question when it comes to vertical farming is the energy input, right? So.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're checking this. So now, for example, so we're conducting pilots in Switzerland, also with government entities, and we have bigger pilots that are coming this year. But so that's why I'm saying what we still want to have it contact them with the Dutch growers, because that's where the market is in Europe.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Just Nick had a question. Then we go to the ones in the chat.
Hi guys, thanks for your presentation. Actually, the question is already given in chat. My colleague Arnak wrote it about program cost, and I also I think it's better if I clarify a little bit about our company. Plant Factory Technologies builds vertical farms to grow special crops for functional nutrition and pharmaceuticals. And as I see, we are definitely, this program is definitely fit for us, but we are interested to learn more about conditions. How could we participate? Is it totally offline, or maybe it can be separate? For example, if we have key technology, but we need to grow more, for example, to deep our food tech direction, but we don't have any specific achievements in this direction. Thank you.
I'm not sure I get the question.
First is about conditions about participating in this programs, cost, and
So there,
form of participation. Is it totally
okay.
offline, or maybe a partially online, partially offline?
So it's free of charge. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lucas and Alexander. So FAN for sure is free of charge. You are actually given a grant to cover for the sort of travel and expenses, and also you can use it for the research or test that you might need to run during the program. It's a 10K grant that you get, and in terms of format, everything is so the day-to-day is kind of online, right? Most of the sessions are online, but there are on a monthly basis we gather everybody around one key activity, which can be around the demo day, around visits to corporates, visits to food lab or food facilities. We are very much in France. We have a huge a partner with a very interesting and big capabilities in the fermentation area, for example. So that's the kind of thing that we do to build the relationship and create the network between you guys and also with our partners. So you would be traveling once a month or 4 times during the program, but the rest would be mainly online.
Thank you. Let me ask one more moment. I saw in your slides that one headquarter is in Finland, in Helsinki.
Yeah.
And could we begin from that, if it's usable for us?
So yes, so you don't need to be from the country, right? It's like I said earlier, it's very much depending on what you're looking for. So if the Finland hub is run by VTT, and they have certain expertise in certain areas such as cellular meat, for example, cellular based products. That's one example, right? But yeah, if it makes sense for you, then yes, you can basically. So you have when you go on the website, you sort of apply for one of the 3 programs, and then once you enter FAN, for example, you will get to choose or to put your wishes in terms of which hub you want to you would like to apply for, and then depending on the space left and we will then allocate you where we feel is best appropriate. But yes, you get to choose, and the location where you are right now, it has nothing to do with the way we allocate people to the hubs. So we end up with different nationalities, and per hub it really doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nick, as far as I understood, you are working on biotech, like what is it, hydrocolloids, or what are you dealing with?
We work in vertical farming and grow crops for pharmaceutical and functional nutrition.
All right. Okay.
So there was one more question regarding the location from Uganda. How do they participate?
Tricky. It's not really Europe, is it? Yeah, I think you have to be based in Europe, Israel, right?
It's not possible. Unlike you have your place of living currently in the EU or in the associated countries, which is mostly the non-EU Eastern European countries and Israel.
Exactly.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question on my side. I don't know if you mentioned it, but what is the time involvement expected on our side for the program?
So So for CBET, I can say, well, project coordinator is saying 10 hours a week. I would say it's basically up to you. I mean, you should be present in our progress calls, which are every 2 weeks for an hour. You should take advantage of the experts and residents we are offering. And then you decide on how much time you spend. There's no test. I would say if you validate your business model, you should invest a lot of time, and you can partially spend it inside the Seedbed program, for instance.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, from a fan perspective, so I mean, for the French hub, which I'm representing, we're building the actual curriculum, but we want to avoid, we don't want to build a program that's very time consuming, because what I said earlier, the startups that are in the program are busy running the business already, so it's basically, so I can't give you like a number of hours per week, but probably one workshop per week, and then bi-weekly calls, progress calls, and then those events that we will organize on a monthly basis, where we really recommend you joining, because this is where you build the relationship and the network and the potential collaboration with the partners.
Makes sense, thank you.
Any other questions, thoughts, concerns?
In the chat, no?
Yeah.
In the chat. No.
From Anne, can someone currently working as sole inventor apply for CBET, or only a team can apply? There, from experience, Alexander, correct me if I'm wrong, usually teams of 2 are...
Yeah, usually teams of 2. But what does it usually mean? I mean, first of all, it's CBET for sure. And I would try to apply, and saying that you're maybe currently looking for an additional teammate.
It could be a way, it could be a way for you guys to find the
And
founder.
by the way, EIT Food is even offering one, I wouldn't call it program, one scheme where to match with potential team members.
Yes, that's the green global food venture program.
Yeah.
A question from Anne.
Hi, I have one question. I'm always a bit afraid if I see that big companies like Nestle or Danone are in this kind of programs, because how is your own idea and your own concept the rights? How do you solve that this company is not just watching for good ideas and copy you? Or it's always two things in my heart. Should I go to such a program and participate of all the knowledge, or should I try to avoid this kind of think tanks where, I mean, probably you have some experience about and can give me some good words with.
Yeah. And thank you. A question which I indeed hear very often. If you join the programs, the partners are not really in the program. You have the opportunity to meet the partners if you like. Sometimes they see a picture and say, I would like to hear more, and please fix me a direct contact. But the program itself, it's not run by our industrial partners. It's run by the hubs, either CBET or FAN. And as we are dealing a lot with food tech, for instance, if the startup is coming to our institute outside the program, because as I said, CBET is more focusing on the business validation. Of course, we sign NDAs. I'm just saying, startups, especially food startups, are sometimes a bit too, let's say, skeptical when it comes to their IP protection. If your business model is just based on an idea, then basically lock yourself up and never tell someone, but then you will never find customers as well. If it is a food product, it's very hard to get a patent on that. just
It's
mentioning.
impossible.
Coca-Cola doesn't have a patent. Yeah, it's more a trade secret. So, but you can, for instance, talk to experts and say, well, if I talk to someone, and this is especially what you learn in Seedbed, how much do I reveal? What do I have to reveal? And how can I maybe circle around the bushes a bit? Yeah. Basically, it's what Lucas mentioned earlier. It's a sparring partner. Yeah. Not in the industry, but very much experienced in startup coaching. And this is especially the questions. How can I avoid it? If I have to sign an NDA, does it really make sense? And what form it should have? Yeah. Yeah. And can people ask me, am I signing the NDA Nestle sending me, or do I send my own? Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think there will be a time, and sooner than later, when you have to talk about your ID, project, product, whatever you're working on, and you have to find the right balance so that yes, you get feedback. You need feedback, right, from your potential future client, from VCs who will potentially invest then. So I think it's not really. I think it's more of an opportunity for you to access those guys. And as Alexander said, I mean, if you have a good idea, I mean, yeah, they can steal it, but they can steal it anyway, right? It's not because you're in the program.
Yes, sure, but as long as you can be on a market, but you go on the stage, then if you go to such it makes a bit of difference. But and I fully agree, you're right. Where do you find where can I applicate? So it's both is until the end of February, right?
Yeah, for Sven it's 28th.
It's the same date for both.
Yeah.
And did you send where find the application links?
You will get the link again.
You want to put it in the chat, maybe, Lucas? No?
Yeah, I can put it in chat. Well,
perfect.
In the meantime, there was, sorry, one question in the chat again. First, I put the link in the chat for the ones who did not see this one. So basically, you can also look through the programs, Launch, Accelerate, and the Rising Food Stars. There's the question regarding Uganda, since they're not a part of the system. What can we advise to do so?
It just pops into my mind. We have a project in Uganda, and maybe it's good to just send the contact details. And I mean, replicating the program, I'm pretty sure that EIT would have an open ear if an Uganda organization is coming. Hey, that's cool. We want to do the same thing, and can you help us? More strategic question, I would say. The materials as such are not on disposal. We do not distribute them.
But yeah, you guys have to relocate, right? I mean, if you were to participate to one of the EIT programs, you have to be located in one of the EU countries or Israel, as Alexander said.
But again, do not hesitate to reach out to people, because all our networks most likely go beyond Europe. Alexander nicely said that you have Uganda, we have ties to Thailand and Vietnam. Always expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
There's another question from Nick. Is there some opportunities for developing biotech direction in terms of laborants, employees? We haven't the skills in this direction, but we see future business model built on it, meaning sales. Sales of processed products based on microgreens grown in vertical farms. So meaning business development within those programs.
Yeah, I mean, we are into biotech, and one of the last cohort members from the FAN program is now having facilities here at our campus. So I'm following up very closely. I would say if you are not into biotech, I mean, I don't know exactly your business model, but it's going to be complicated. Biotech is very much tech-driven. It requires a lot of expertise, and I do not really know what you expect if you do not have any knowledge in that.
Yeah, one thing maybe to add, well, you don't have the knowledge, but you might get to know someone who has the knowledge, whether it is from alumni or companies, SMEs working on that topic. This goes alongside the network building, right? It's not just this one way, but it goes both ways. And the closer the network is tied, the more you can grow with other peers. Any other last questions? Otherwise, drop us an email. I will do or send you guys a follow-up email, also with all the contact details. If there are no more questions.